Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our National Predators Throwback 2000 franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the first round of the playoffs against the Dallas Stars, and we managed to beat them within 6 games. It was a pretty solid team effort, I would say, for the most part, and we were able to get ourselves to the second round, which is great, obviously, considering this is probably the final season of this franchise mode. But you can see in that first round, in the first 2 games, we outscored them by a score of 15-5, so tripling them up, which was absolutely insane. Then we lost a close one, 4-3, so at that stage I was thinking maybe that we would be splitting games through 4. Well, we managed to bounce back with a nice 4-2 victory to take a 3-1 series lead. Then we dropped the next game 5-4, so at that point I was thinking, oh, maybe they're going to win 3 straight games and eliminate us. Well, we managed to also bounce back with a 3-1 victory. So we have had some good, nice bounce back wins after some losses, so that's great. And we have gotten ourselves to the second round where we're going to be taking on the Calgary Flames, who are an underdog team to say the least. They did finish as the 8th best team in the Western Conference. However, that has not stopped them. They managed to eliminate the first place San Jose Sharks. So they definitely have been a bit of a cheese team, which is a bit scary. He has 78 points on the regular season and a below 50% on the points percentage. They knocked out a team that almost had 70% on points percentage and 113 points, that being the San Jose Sharks. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see if we can actually beat them. I think we should be obviously able to based on regular season stats, but since they took out a top-seeded team, they could be like that type of cheese team that eliminates a lot of good teams, gets themselves to a finals, and then loses. So I'm hoping that obviously that it isn't the case and we are able to knock them out here in round number 2. The roster is kind of in an interesting roster, I would say, for the most part as well. They do have some good pieces on it. I would say probably more leaning towards like Jarome Iginla, of course. Mark Savard is still also in Calgary. And there was some other players too, like this Blake Jenner guy who's 19 years old. They do have young players like Thomas Plekanec, this Khalil McCarthy guy. And Brent Burns is a huge addition, I'd say, to their 4 group. So they have 2 really good power forwards in their top 6. They also have Justin Williams, who can make an impact on that third line. So they definitely have some solid depth to their lineup as well. Then if we get to their defensive core, they have Duncan Keith, which is pretty crazy. So they do have that 1 stud defenseman and a bunch of like kind of top 6 defenders as well. So they defensive core isn't super strong, but when you have Duncan Keith there as well, like you're definitely going to have a good power play unit, I would assume. Like this is what their power play is looking like. Iginla, Savard, Burns, Markov, and Keith. So shout out to Markov for getting to play with all those stud players, but that's a great first line power play unit. The second line unit looks pretty good too with Williams, Plekanec, and Jenner, and then Van Imp and Leeson. So yeah, they definitely have some solid depth to their top 6, especially to help them out. And then in terms of the goaltending, they're relying on our former goaltender. I believe he was our starter in our first year, Mike Dunham. So Mike Dunham is an interesting one. They do also have Pat Pittis as a backup goalie at the moment, who's only a 61. The reason why is because their actual starter, Mike Smith, was injured and that was early into the playoffs. So I'm not too sure on how long he's out for. We'll definitely take a look at that. But he played the first 2 games of the playoffs, played really well, and then had to get replaced because of his injury. And then in came Dunham, and Dunham has been okay, but he hasn't been as good, obviously, in the save percentage department. So if we're able to score on Dunham, I think we definitely have a chance. And also if Mike Smith doesn't return here relatively soon, and if we can contain their top guns, obviously, of Iginla, Savard, Burns, and some other guys as well. But anyways, before we get into this first round matchup, let's get in your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then we'll likely get into the second round matchup and see if we could prolong the series a little bit longer. So the first comment is from Sano Talk, who says, were you to continue the series, it would be time to trade Pavelski. Should be another interesting matchup, but I wouldn't be surprised to see you get cheesed. And yeah, if we were to trade somebody on a roster in the next few years, obviously if we were to continue this franchise mode, Joe Pavelski probably would be pretty high up on this list because he has been the worst player on this roster by a large margin. We did decide to scratch him in the last series because he was so bad. So you can see literally like our point production and our plus minus all very good throughout our lineup. But then you get to somebody like Pavelski, -6 through 4 games with not even a single point. His career numbers in the playoffs as well have been dreadful. He only has the 1 goal in 17 games. So yeah, he's definitely going to stay scratched, but he might get thrown into the lineup if for some reason we get any issues with our team at the moment. And then you can see also like our defensive core was also really good in the plus minus. Like he was a complete outlier in the plus minus department, which is not a great thing. Like you can see a -6, and the next closest is a -2 only. So definitely Pavelski was the worst player on our team through 4 games, and yeah, that's why he's taking a seat. And the last and final comment is from Michael Dose, who says, have you heard, is there anything new in NHL 25 that wasn't in NHL 24? The funny thing is he commented this at the same time as the franchise thing. I think, well, actually, wait. Oh, wait, oh, that's what it wasn't actually the same day. It was the day before the franchise deep dive. So now all you guys have seen what's coming in franchise mode for NHL 25. So you can see why I'm kind of excited to see what ends up happening with whatever team we end up doing, because like the no movement clauses and stuff like that, like I think it's going to make for a real interesting impact to players that we could have on our team, and trying to get rid of players and all that type of thing as well. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Also taking a look at like box scores and that type of thing. I think it's going to be a really fun year for franchise mode, and I hope that you guys are excited for it as much as I am. But anyways, there is that. So I think we're ready to get into this matchup. I want to just make sure we have the right goaltending tandem in our goaltender in, because I believe we are going to start Jimmy Howard for the series, just because Brust hasn't been the best so far in place, because obviously Sedin's still hurt. But Brust, you can see, had an 882 through 4 games. Meanwhile, Jimmy Howard has been really good so far with 2 games played and a 947 save percentage. So we will definitely be starting Jimmy Howard to start this round 2. But obviously, if he starts to play really badly, we could easily just go to Brust. And then hopefully we could get to a part of the playoffs once Sedin's are back again. Because once Sedin's back, at least our goaltending is a bit more stronger. But at the moment, it's not really that bad on paper. I do want to take a look at how long Mike Smith is out for, because I don't think I did that in last episode. So let's take a look at that. Also, Ryan Suter is currently injured still too, so that's a pretty big blow. But he will be back for next game, which is huge. And then, yeah, Sedin doesn't come back till May the 26th, so he probably won't be back until we get to like a cup finals, if we do even get that far. So he might never play a game in the series left, which is kind of crazy. And speaking of injuries, Mike Smith is not going to return this entire playoff run. He will not be back till June the 1st. He has a broken ankle in Calgary, so we are going to be just facing Mike Dunham the entire time unless they play their 61 overall goaltender in Pittis, which obviously if they do that, I think we'll probably get cheesed somehow, just because low overall goalies seem to do really well in franchise mode at times. But anyways, let's get into the second round and see if we could get to the conference finals. Winner of this series will face either Edmonton or Detroit. And then in the East, you got Carolina, Philadelphia, and Florida, Tampa. So good little Floridian battle right there. Let's see what happens. Game number 1. Come on, boys. Let's use that home ice advantage to our advantage, and let's hope that we do not get cheesed. First period. Okay, that's a bit of cheese. I mean, Khalil McCarthy, solid player in their top 6. Jimmy Howard allows also a goal from Jarome Iginla. Of course, Jarome Iginla is going to score goals, though. We know that keeping Jarome Iginla is off the score sheet is going to be just as hard as, like, some of those other stud players I've had against in like my Jet series, for example. Going up against like anybody that's like a 90+ power forward, you know that they're going to score a lot of goals. And yeah, Jarome Iginla is that type of guy. He might be able to willpower his team to a Stanley Cup victory. So shots are 16-9 in favor of Calgary. We're down by a pair of goals after 1. Not the best start for Jimmy Howard, but he did face a lot of shots. So hopefully he could play good in the second period. And hopefully our team can start back into this game. Like we could get 2 goals, tie us up. Maybe get 1 goal to make us back into it for the third. Regardless, let's just have a good second period here and not let them on the score sheet. Second period. 3-0. That's not good. McCarthy scores again, and it was 12 seconds into the period. We're being outshot 28-21. So shots are not relatively, like, we're not getting badly outshot, but we are down by 3 goals, which is not great. So yeah, this is not the best first game that we were hoping for to start the series, but if they take a game on our home ice, we definitely need to find a way to win a game in Calgary as well. So let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could start to claw back into this game or not. But so far, not a great start to the second round. Hey, Ladislav Nagy gets on the board. He is leading our team in points at the moment, makes it a 3-1 game. Do we have any more goals in us? We are out shooting them now, so we are getting our chances. Come on, boys. Please get me 1 or 2 more goals. Power play for us. We do not score. And we are going to lose by a score of 3-1 in Game 1, as Mike Dunham played really good against us. Of course he did. Final shots were 38-31 in favor of us, but we only scored 1 goal, so that's kind of uncharacteristic of our team. Obviously, last round we scored a lot of goals in the first 2 games, so we definitely need to find our offense going forward if we want to have a chance in the series. So Nagy's 5th from Hartnell and Legwand is our only goal, and then McCarthy scored his first 2 goals of the playoffs. Jarome Iginla scored his 5th already, so yeah, that top 6 is going to be a tough task to contain. And then Mike Dunham was really, really good in that game, so we got to be able to find ways to score on our former goaltender. Not a lot of these guys used to play with Mike Dunham. David Legwand did, but a lot of these other players have just been added to our roster over the last few years. As Ryan Suter will be back, as I did mention, for this next game, which should help us out hypothetically in terms of playing a better defensive structure. So that's at least good. So we'll get Suter back in, and I believe Suter was up there with Weber, if I remember right. And yeah, Jimmy Howard was still kind of strong in that game, but I don't know. Should I be playing him over Brust? I feel like I will still. If he loses this next game, maybe we'll put Brust in, but for right now, let's keep it the same. I could always try splitting up like Hartnell and Marita, but splitting them not Hartnell and Marita and Van Allen, but I don't know. I'll probably keep it like this for the time being. Also, hopefully Artmeyer has a good second round because he was a really good player in the first round, so we need that depth scoring to definitely show up as well in the series because it did in the first round. If he could do it for multiple rounds, that will definitely go a long way in getting us far in the playoffs as well. So let's keep the team the exact same, even though this is another game on home ice. If we lose this game, we will need to win both games in Calgary, or else this is going to be a very tough second round. So we could end up getting cheese here, just as Aaron Taku mentioned, and kind of as I was expecting when they knocked out with the President's Trophy winners. Like, if Calgary wins the Stanley Cup this year, that would be one of the biggest underdog stories I think I've ever seen in a franchise mode, where they knock out like the number 1 seed by that much of a point gap, and then they go on to win one. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Let's have a good response here in Game 2, guys, and if we do not, I will make some adjustments, especially to our forward court, because we did not score enough in that last game. First period, game number 2. Scoreless, I'll take it, but we have only scored 1 goal in 4 periods, which is not really a great sign. That means Mike Dunham is just completely on his game. No goals on 11 shots for us, no goals on 8 shots for them, so we are out shooting them, but it is still pretty even. Can we find a way to break the deadlock and find ways to score more goals like we did last round? Second period. 1-0 Flames. Man, we only have 1 goal still through 5 periods against this Calgary Flames team. They are definitely cheese, so that would be a generated Gilroy. Oh no, that would be Matt Gilroy. Wouldn't it? Yeah, I guess Matt Gilroy's already in the NHL at this point. But we are out shooting 25-18, but we just can't find ways to score goals right now for some weird reasons. So we need our team to step it up in the third period and find a way to score, or else we are going to, like I said, have to win games in Calgary to guarantee us a chance in this series. Also, I just realized Brust was in net for that goal, so I hope that Jimmy Howard didn't get injured now too, because if Jimmy Howard got injured, relying on Brust and then some random AHL goalie is probably not the best thing that we need to do here in this last season potentially. So let's see what happens in this third period, see if we could put a shot in the net, because we've had a lot of shots on net, but we haven't been able to get anything really past Dunham. He's been locked in so far. Third period underway, looking to tie this game up at 1 if we can. Power play for us. We do get a power play goal from Mike Comrie. Let's go. That's a huge goal from Comrie. Tie it up. But of course, Jarome Iginla scores a power play goal right back to give them the lead. But we get another power play goal of our own from Shea Weber. Okay. So a lot of power play goals here in this third period from both teams. It's a 2-2 game. Are we going to overtime? Oh my goodness. Why do I even say stuff like that? Brent Burns, with 1:38 left, has scored the game-winning goal, and despite outshooting him 38-28, we are going to lose and go down 2-0 headed to Calgary. This definitely feels like a cheese-related series for sure at this point. We're going to have to find a way to win 2 games on the road, which is going to be kind of a tough task for our team, I think. So Comrie from Nagy, Weber from Van Allen, Spezza, but Brent Burns, the game-winning goal. Their top 6 has just been really, really good so far in the series. Burns with 3 points. Dunham had another strong game. Plekanec had 2 more assists. Oh, this is not looking good. Well, we're going to have to make some adjustments, because 3 goals in 2 games is not very good. That's only 1.5 goals a game on average. And then we're allowing basically 3 goals a game, so doubled up basically, in the series so far. So let's make some adjustments, see what we could do here. See if we could find a way to get this team producing better offensively. So we'll go with Hartnell on the top line. Morita will go to the second line. And then we will probably do something to the bottom six. I don't want to put Pavelski back in, but I might have to do something around those lines at some point here. Let's get Lacoste up to the third line. And we'll get Rene Bourque down to the fourth line. From a defensive standpoint, let's go Daly and Weber, Suter and Corazzini, Jacques and Seabrook. And then, I mean, Jimmy Howard's still been good. I don't know why he didn't play so much minutes last game. He must have gotten injured or something briefly. But I think we are going to go back to Jimmy Howard again for this game, because he has actually been solid. Yeah, I'm not really sold on our team's offensive capabilities. Like, it seems like we're doing still okay defensively, but we just haven't been able to put those offensive numbers up. Like, I could call up Andre Kostitsyn or somebody like that, but I don't think they're going to make a huge impact right now. Also, the AHL team is in the playoffs at the moment, it seems like. So I probably want to keep them the same for now, I think. Trying to think of what I could do here. Maybe I should get Comrie into the top 6. Leguan's actually got 8 points in 8 games, so never mind. I was thinking Leguan was kind of slacking off, but he's actually been really good. So I think we're going to keep the rest of that the same, and we're just going to continue to simulate. Just got to hope that we can find a way to get back into the series. I don't know if this would be easier for us if we were playing against Mike Smith, because Mike Smith in real life, I believe, wasn't a great playoff goaltender for the most part. So that would have been nice if we maybe went up against him instead of Mike Dunham, but Mike Dunham seems to know all of our tricks at the moment, only allowing those 3 goals in 2 games, so he's definitely been our kryptonite at this point in time. Detroit's down 2-0 as well, so we might not even get a realistic cup result if we end up losing, which kind of sucks, but we need to get back into the series, no questions asked, because if we don't, this could be the last playoff simulation episode we have of the series, and then next episode might be the finale recap, and that would not be great. Anyways, let's get to game number 3. We're in Calgary now. They have been a very good cheese team so far. Do we have a response to combat the cheese? Like, do we have a way to turn them into burnt cheese so they're not really that tasty anymore? I know some people like burnt cheese, but not everybody. Do we have find a way to get rid of this cheese? First period, game 3. Still only the 3 goals. God damn. 3 goals in a total of 9, or not 9 periods, I guess 7 periods. 3 goals in 7 periods. Yeah, it's not a great average. Shots are 11-8 in favor of us, so we are getting our chances, but we just cannot find anything going so far, which is not a great sign. Like, if we fall down 3-0, maybe we could pull off a reverse sweep, but the chances of that, I feel like, are like lackluster just because of the fact that this Calgary Flames team already knocked out the President's Trophy winners. Maybe they're the favorite in this playoff run. Do we have a chance to get some goals in the second period? Second period. Come on, boys, please. Marcel Gotch, a guy that actually used to play for Nashville at one point, which is weird because I don't remember him too much on Nashville, but he scores to make it 1-0 Flames. Shots are 19-15 in favor of us. We literally have only 3 goals through 8 periods of hockey. I might have to go best lines or something like that, or completely reorganize the lines to try and make them as in-depth as possible. I honestly don't know what to do with this team at this point. But let's see what happens in this third period. This is an important period because if we lose this period, we're going to need to literally reverse sweep them if we want to have a chance. Come on, boys. Get on the board, please. There we go. Trevor Daley on the power play. That's a big one from Trevor Daley. David Leguant has scored as well. Our power play has been still somewhat good in the series. Hayden Van Allen makes it 3-1. Okay. The team has answered now, finally, to give up all those goals that we have not scored yet in this series. Van Allen with 2 goals in this third period. Brent Burns scores a power play goal for the Flames. We still are up by 2. Can we lock it down? Yikes. Drew Miller makes it 4-3, but we barely hold them off. And we have made this series at least a little bit more closer on paper. Final shots 33-27, but we almost lost that game, which is still kind of scary. But a nice 4-goal third period. That's kind of what I wanted to see from this team after not scoring so much in the first 2 games. So Daly from leg one from Nagy and Comrie. Then we had Van Allen from Jacques and Spezza, and Van Allen again from Spezza. So Van Allen's still doing great, same as Spezza and a couple other guys, but some of these guys have been kind of quiet for a little bit too long. So Van Allen first star, Drew Miller the second star, David leg one, he third star. Okay. So we are back into the series. Joe Pavelski's losing morale because of ice time, but I do not care right now. He's not going in a series that we're trailing in because he'd just be a liability at this point, I think. Let's just go back to edit lines here and keep with Jimmy Howard, I think. I want to look at Jimmy Howard's stats now. Because we could always go back to Brust, but at the same time it could be a huge risk. So, let's see. Yeah, Jimmy Howard's the man right now still. And moving Marita to that second line might have been a good idea, because David Legwand scored last game and had some points. Yeah, it might have been a good idea to do that. And then Van Allen had a better chance to score some more goals. Definitely our offensive depth scoring is good, but we are still not scoring as much as you would hope for. So we are definitely kind of a Nashville Predators-esque team that just plays more defensive hockey, I feel like. But yeah, I think we got to keep the team the same for the next game. If we can find a way to win both games in Calgary, we'll be back to square one, which is nice. If we lose this next game, we're going to need to win 3 straight. So this is a pretty substantial game for both teams. Like I said, we win this game, we're back in the series. We lose this game, it's going to be a little bit of a hill to climb for our rosters. So let's keep it the same, see if we can win this game. It's been a pretty close series when you think about it, goals for wise, because the first game we lost by 2, second game we lost by 1, last game we won by 1. So it's definitely been a matter of a couple goals. So we can't fall down too early, or else it wouldn't be a good game probably for our team. So let's see what happens in a crucial game 4. Still in Calgary, can we take both their games after they took both of our home games, so to speak? First period. 1-0 Flames. Short-handed goal from Ozzy Vananen of all people. Wasn't expecting him to score. Not a huge goal scorer. Final shots after the first period, 11-8. So we are being outplayed a little bit, but not by much. We are down by that 1 goal, so it's not great again that the Flames have the first goal of the game. It seems like it's been like that, though, for most of the series so far at this point in time, that they've scored first. Do we have a response in the second period? Because we scored 4 goals in the third period of the last game. I know we have the offensive capability, but we've had some periods where we just don't do anything whatsoever. So can we find a way to tie this game up or get that lead? Second period. 2-2. Okay, there's a good period. Van Allen scores again, so we are getting goals from our top 6, which is nice now. Makes it a 1-1 game. Markov gave them the lead, but a power play goal from Marita. So our power play has definitely been pretty good against the Flames, but aside from that, it seems like regular strength, we are still kind of struggling. Shots are 19-18 in favor of the Flames. It's a 2-2 game, so very even game at this point. This is a crucial third period. Can we find a way to grab the lead in this 20 minutes? Come on, boys. Let's get her done. Penalty kill to start the third. We killed it off. Power play for us. It's a long one, but we do not score on it, surprisingly. We get another power play chance, and now we score Scott Hartnell, but a shorthand goal answered right back from Darren Van Imp of all people. God damn it. Penalty kill. Nicely done, boys. And we get the lead back again. Van Allen gives us another 4-3 lead. Final few minutes, and we do lock it down. That's back-to-back wins by a score of 4-3. So we take both games in Calgary, and we have tied the series up at 2, which is huge. Great response from the team after losing both home games. Final shots 37-27, but Hayden Van Allen is starting to heat up, and that's exactly what I need, is somebody on the roster to take charge. So Van Allen from Spezza and Hartnell, Marita from Corzini and Spezza, Hartnell from Marita and Spezza, and Van Allen from Spezza and Suter. So yes, Spezza, 4 assists in that game. That's exactly what I need from my top 6 guys. Yeah, Spezza 4 points, Marita, Van Allen, and Hartnell all with 2 points. Suter and Corzini with a point each. Yeah, the top 6 is starting to take charge, and Jimmy Howard didn't have the best game, so I might honestly go to Brust for next game, just because Howard's probably not used to starting so much games consecutively. But Van Allen the first star, Spezza second star, and Marita the third star. All right, well, that was a great response from our team. 2 solid offensive games in a row. We've been giving up still exactly 3 goals a game, every single game of the series. So that's kind of crazy. So we cannot allow them to score more than 3 goals, or else we're in a bad spot, I feel like. But it has been a good series so far. Definitely could go 7 games, I could see at this point, if it's going to alternate like this. So I think we're going to have Brust in net, so I'll let them keep him in that. We're going to keep the lineup the same because we've won 2 straight games. Let's see what ends up happening and seeing if we could take our first lead of the series. So far, the home team has not won a game, which means maybe this is the game, this type of series where you see the home team not win a single game until Game 7, because if that's the case, means we would win in Game 7 if that happens. But I prefer to win in 6 games rather than 7, but whatever it takes. So here we go. Game 5 on home ice now. Can we get our first home win of this series against the Flames? And like I said, Brust is now in net, so this should be an interesting one. First period, Game 5. 2-2 game, okay. We definitely have found our offense, but they definitely are still matching us goal for goal, it seems like. Iginla scores a power play goal against us, of course he does. And then Van Allen scores a power play goal for us. Hartnell scores. Brent Burns scores for them. So both teams' top 6 is doing a lot of work, and we have been scoring, like I said, a lot of power play goals against them so far. So hopefully we get more power play opportunities so we could score more goals. Shots are 14-8 in favor of the Flames after 1, but it is a 2-2 game, so they are outplaying us. But we are in this game, and we have been able to start scoring goals now on Dunham, which is also very nice. Can we find a way to get that lead in the second period? We had it briefly, but obviously that late goal from Burns tied it up. Second period. 3-2 us. Let's go. A short-handed goal from Ryan Suter. Love to see it. So we are scoring now goals on the power play, short-handed, and a little bit on the regular strength part. Shots are 25-19 in favor of the Flames, but we are up by a goal. Can we get some insurance and lock down this game 5? Come on, boys. Let's lock her down. Get some insurance. Make me feel safe, please. Of course. Darren Van It makes it a 3-3 game, scoring on Brust. Come on, guys. We are being badly outshot. We need to find a way to cheese them out of this game. Come on. Final 5 minutes of this third period, still tied at 3. Final few minutes, and we are, in fact, going into an overtime. That's why I didn't say it until the last little bit, because I was worried that a goal was going to happen, because the last few times I've said that, goals have happened. So, shots 38-25 in favor of the Flames, yet it's a 3-3 game. Like, we're getting completely outplayed in this one, which is not great, but Bruss has had a solid game, 35 saves so far. He's giving us a chance to win this series, potentially. We've won the last 2 games 4-3. Is there a chance we could win our 3rd straight by the same score? See what happens in overtime. Who wants to be the hero? Let me actually call on a player. Let's go with Van Allen. He's been hot as of late. I could definitely see him scoring some more goals. See what happens in overtime. Come on, boys. Penalty kill in overtime. We killed it off. Nicely done. Power play for us. Our power play has been good so far, and we do score on the power play, and it's Marita, the Karate Kid, shows up with a huge OT winner. We outshot 41-29, but we've won 3 straight games by the exact same scoreline. And just like that, we are 1 win away from the conference finals. Looked like everything was going to fall apart when we were down 2-0, but 3 straight wins. This team will not quit, which is huge. Van Allen from Marita and Hartnell. Hartnell from Seabrook and Spezza. Suter from LaCosta and Kopecky. That was his first goal to playoffs. And in Marita's 4th is a game-winning goal from Spezza and Weber. Marita's definitely been a little bit quiet, but that's a big game-winning goal from that kid. From the kid. I can barely talk. Marita the 1st star. Hartnell 2nd star. Brent Burns for them the 3rd star of the game. But yeah, that was a big performance from Brust. So Brust will definitely start next game. He definitely helped us win that one, making all those saves and getting us to an overtime situation. But our power play has been amazing so far, which is great. If our power play has been struggling, we would definitely not be in the series. But 3 straight wins by the exact same scoreline is kind of insane. And for the 5th consecutive game, the Flames have only scored 3 goals. So kind of insane there. So if they score more than that, that's where it's a little bit risky that we might lose. So definitely don't want to allow them to score more than 3 goals, I'd say. But we have the series lead. We are 1 win away from the conference finals. If we win this game, we might play the Oilers. It depends, obviously, if Detroit comes back in their series. Carolina is guaranteed going to the conference finals, where they're likely to play the Florida Panthers, depending on if they win their next game or not. So Carolina is the only team that has their ticket punched at this point in time. Let's get to Game 6 and see if we could close out the series and win our 4th consecutive game, or are we going to a Game 7? Because that was our first win on home ice of the series, which is kind of crazy. So we've won 2 games on the road so far. We could definitely win a 3rd here. Come on, boys. We just got to contain Iginla and all that, and we'll see if we could get on the board again on our power play. So, first period, game number 6. 1-1, okay, I'll take it. Corzini scores first, and then Brad Richardson ties the game up. Shots are 12-8 in favor of us, but it is a 1-1 game, so pretty even first period. Not the best start for Brust, allowing 1 goal and 8 shots, but he did have a fantastic last game to give us the win, so I'm not going to complain too much. Do we have a chance to grab that second period lead? Let's see what happens. Second period. 3-3. Yeah, this has been a very close series. Is this going to be the 4th consecutive game where we could win 4-3? That would be insane. So Trevor Daley makes it 2-1. Gotch makes it 2-2. Hartnell makes it 3-2. And of course, Jarome Iginla makes it 3-3. Jarome Iginla has definitely been doing the most for the Flames, I feel like, in this series in terms of goals scored. Obviously, early on, Dunham was a big piece in why they won 2 games, but Iginla's definitely been their offensive threat, as he probably should be. Shots are 20-18. It's a 3-3 game. Can we find a way to get that lead back in the third period and potentially win another one by the exact same scoreline as the last 3 games? Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Power play for us. No goals on that power play there, surprisingly. Penalty kill. And we do not allow a goal, which is good. Power play again for us. We do not score there. This could be another one that goes to extra frames, potentially. I don't want to speak too soon. No penalty kill. Nicely done, boys. Final few minutes. And we are, in fact, going to back-to-back overtimes. And it will end 4-3 regardless, but will it be in our favor for the 4th consecutive game? This is a really weird series at the moment, because I didn't expect us to win so many games consecutively. If we find a way to win here, we obviously go to the conference finals. If we lose this, we go back to a Game 7 scenario on our home ice. So who wants to be the hero in overtime this time around? Obviously, last time it was the Karate Kid. Who wants to be it this time? I'm going to call on a random guy. Let's go with Shea Weber. Because Shea Weber's had some nice big goals in these playoffs occasionally. So let's call on Shea Weber and see what happens in this overtime scenario. Come on, boys. Come on. You got this. I believe in you. Power play for us. We do not score on it. That's a wasted opportunity, but at least it generated some momentum potentially. And of course, the Flames do score afterwards, and it's the guy that we wanted to contain, Jarome Iginla. As the Flames have won their first game since Game 3, we will be going to a Game 7 back on our home ice. That's unfortunate. That's a wasted opportunity right there. And it does make me a little bit scared that they could still knock us out in Game 7. So Corzini from Reed and Legwan, Daly from Spets and Van Allen, Hartnell from Spets and Daly. And unfortunately, Jarome Iginla will power them to a victory. He's got 9 goals in these playoffs at the moment. Yeah, he gets first star of the game. Brad Richardson, the second star, and Trevor Daly, the third star. But was that a good game for Brust or not? And not very. I think I'm going to go to Jimmy Howard for Game 7. Because he did a lot of the lifting early on. I think he deserves it, but this has been a very weird series. The last 4 games have been the exact same scoreline, except for we didn't win that last one. Every single game has been decided by 1 goal, except for the first game of the series. So it has definitely been probably one of the most tight series I've had in a franchise mode. Spets is now leading us with 19 points. The Edmonton Oilers have taken out Detroit, so the Oilers will be going to the conference finals. Carolina is also up there, as we mentioned before, and Florida is as well. So it's going to be between Carolina, Florida, Edmonton, and either us or Calgary to win the Stanley Cup this season. So we will go with Jimmy Howard to start this game, but do I want to make any other adjustments accordingly? Considering this could be the last game we simulate of this franchise mode. Considering this episode would be going up on, I'm just trying to think of what days these are going up on. This would go up on the 23rd. We'd probably put out an episode like the recap on the 25th, and then, yeah, that's perfect timing for NHL 25. So this could be the last simulation episode. It really depends if we could find a way to win here. Do I want to make any more adjustments, though, to this roster here? Let's look at the plus minuses here. Trevor Daly's been the worst defenseman in terms of plus minus, other than, who was it? Corzini. I could move Corzini down to the top 6. Move Jacques up. I mean, Corzini's been helping out with the offensive load a little bit, though. But it doesn't really matter too much, I think, on the defensive side of things. From an offensive standpoint, Marita's starting to pick it up. He's got 12 points in this playoff run. But Scott Hartnell's got 13. So I could reunite the old top line and move Van Allen down, but he's also been great So it is a bit of a risk. Maybe the bottom 6 needs to get going a bit because Artmeyer hasn't had a point in this series after having a great first round. Yeah, maybe I'll move Artmeyer down. We'll move Winnick to the third line again. Winnick hasn't done much either, though, in terms of offense, but maybe Artmeyer just needs a new line mates or something like that to play. And then, as I mentioned, Joe Pavelski will probably stay a healthy scratch for a little bit still, just until he learns about his mistakes. So I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's what we'll run with. So the question is now, are we going to be able to survive this and get to the next round? We knew it was going to be a tight series in a way, and it has gone to Game 7. It comes down to this. Winner will go face the Edmonton Oilers. We have played Edmonton before in the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, they should still have like Ilya Kovalchuk and all that, so they definitely are going to be a tough task regardless, but are we going to be the team to face them, or is it going to be a Battle of Alberta in the conference finals? Come on, guys. Let's see what happens. Real-time simulation. Jimmy Howard starting this one. Might be a bad choice, might be a good choice. We'll see. And we scored first. Okay, that's maybe good, but sometimes it's not. As Marita opens the score in less than a minute in. Do we have any other goals in us to score here early in the first period? Come on, guys. Give me some insurance. At least some answers for the Flames. I knew they would have an answer after we scored early. Artmeyer. Let's go, Artmeyer. That's why I moved him in the lineup. Van Allen makes it 3-1. Great start for our offense here in the first period. And that's going to be the lead after one. Shots 11-10 in favor of the Flames, but we have a 2-goal advantage. So that's a very nice first period. It was nice to see Artmeyer getting on the board after I moved him down to the fourth line. Like I said, he was quiet since the last round. Hopefully he has a little bit of fire lit under his ass to score some more goals. But having a 2-goal advantage is nice. I need maybe some more insurance, though, just because I never feel safe having a 2-goal advantage. So let's see what happens in the next 20 minutes, see if we could get some insurance. Anybody want to score for me? Power play for us. Our power play has been good so far, but it does not capitalize there. They get a goal back. Brent Burns. It's a 1-goal game. Not sure if I like that too much. Come on, guys. Let's get some more insurance. Like maybe the Karate Kid or Van Allen, Scott Hartnell, somebody like that. And we're going to have a 3-2 lead going into the third period of Game 7. This has been such a close series. Like I said, every single game except for Game 1 has been decided by 1 goal. So it has definitely been neck and neck. Shots 23-19, so we are outplaying them by a little bit. We are up by 1 goal. We need our goaltending to be strong in this third period. Our defensive play. And then hopefully we can find a way to get another goal to make it a little bit breathable for our team. Let's see what happens in this third period. Come on, guys. Let's get this done. I believe in us. Power play for us. We do not score on it. We got to be able to capitalize on those power plays if we can. Final few minutes. They tied the game up. That's not great. We are going to intervene already. I know it seems kind of weird, but this could potentially be the last game we see. It's a 3-3 game with 5 or 6 minutes left. They just tied the game up, which is not what I wanted to see. We are going to go to the 2007-08 jerseys that they would have had, or the jerseys they would have had around this point in time, which means we are going to go to, that's 2010-11. We'll go to this jersey because that's technically more of an accurate jersey because I believe the alternate didn't come into effect till like 2010, I'd like to say. But we'll put on that jersey for us, and we'll go to the Calgary Flames as well and give them this. Which jersey is it? This one. Yeah, perfect. All right, so this is going to be a little bit worrisome. We win this game, like I said. We find ourselves in the conference finals for the first time, I believe. We lose this, and the series is potentially done, and then we have to just do a recap in the next episode, which doesn't sound as fun. If for some reason we do win the series, next episode would probably end up being like, I guess, maybe multiple playoff rounds and the recap all in one. Just because obviously I'm going to have to force it in right before NHL 25. So we'll probably do something like that. But let's get into this. See if anybody wants to be a hero on our team. This is a big stage. People live for Game 7s. Also, I forgot that they have Justin Williams and we're in a Game 7. So if Justin Williams scores, my rosters are the most accurate rosters out there. I'm joking. But still. Let's see what we got here. Ladislav Nagy wearing number 19. He goes offside immediately. I kind of like that I can use the era-appropriate jerseys for this, though. It's perfect. Makes it even better. All right. Who wants to be the hero for us? We still got a lot of time left on the clock to get a game winner before we go to overtime, potentially. Here is Hartnell. wearing the number 17. He walks in with it. Scott Hartnell to Van Allen, doesn't get the shot through. He's wearing number 10, so he looks like Martin Erat a bit. You know, Erat's not on us anymore. Come on, you guys, get it away. Mark Savard throws it to Jenner. Here is Jarome Iginla. Get it away from him. Of course, Savard, a chance. Huge save there from Jimmy Howard. That's a huge save from Howard. He is going to be wearing his Detroit mask, which is kind of weird. And Van Allen scores. What a goal. Oh, my goodness. Hayden Van Allen. We have taken the lead. That's his 10th goal of the postseason. Van Allen might have just given us a chance to get to the next round. That's his 2nd goal of the game. He's been on a heater as of late. What a pass by Hartnell, and then what a finish. Jeez. I might have to actually take a screenshot of this because I haven't seen these guys play before. But what a shot from Hayden Van Allen. Absolutely rifled that one. And Calgary's taking the timeout after that. Not a surprise, but the breakout started by, who was it? By Trevor Daley, who wears number 8. Hartnell made a nice little move to the outside. Then he throws this great pass onto the stick, and Van Allen just winds right into that. Absolutely rifles it past Dunham, who's still wearing our old pads, which is kind of funny that I made for him. But shout out to Van Allen. Let's get a screenshot of him because I don't have any screenshots of any of these guys in this franchise mode. So might as well do it because that could be a potential huge goal for our team. So there we go. Hayden Van Allen, a huge goal. This 10th of the playoffs for number 10. Wouldn't scripted any better than that. All right, Hartnell has moved up to 15 points for 7th place in the playoff scoring. He's been really good. Now the question is, can we hold on to this lead here? We've had multiple 4-3 wins before in the series, so can we close it down? We got 3 minutes left to do that. Maybe get an insurance marker in case too. But let's play good in our own zone here, boys. Hartnell with the puck. He will carry it up. He is our assistant captain, which is kind of nice. Weber throws it to Spezza. Over to Van Allen. Van Allen gets hit. Spezza steals it. Jason Spezza to Hartnell. It's turned away by Dunham. And then Spezza is tripped. We will be going on to the power play for the rest of regulation. That could be huge to kill off the clock as Jarome Iginla heads to the penalty box. That's huge. Their best player in the box too. That's a huge player to have in the penalty box. Gives us a good chance at potentially closing this one out. As long as we don't give up a shorthand goal, because if we do that, we deserve to be like relegated. All right, face off, Legwan, Comrie. We got also, I believe that is Nagy. Don't remember who's on the point on this power play unit, but let's see if we can get a power play goal to make it a breathable game. Sean Bergenheim with it for Calgary, can't get by. Here's Shea Weber. Weber carrying it in, throws it down low to Legwan. Legwan back to the point. Nagy, a shot turned away by Dunham. Nice little chance there from the point. Don't mind that. But there is Van Allen on the bench. What a surprise. But yeah, Van Allen's probably going to be one of my favorite players from this series. Him and Marita. Even though Marita hasn't lived up to his expectation as much, Van Allen's been very, very nice so far. Comrie, a chance turned away. It's loose and Dunham will find it. He'll throw it out. Calgary's going to have to be forced to go for a short-handed goal, so they might pull their goalie here soon to make it 5-on-5. Legwand throws it all the way over. Here is Weber. Over to Mike Comrie. Comrie will carry it in, makes a great move, finds Nagy. Nagy can get in. He can get in, but he can't get past Dunham. It's a minute line left. We are still going to be on the power play for the rest of regulation, but they will likely try and go for an offensive chance, which means they will likely try to pull their goalie here shortly. Spezza at the point against Brad Richardson, or at the face-off dot, my bad. Van Allen takes it, walks in, shoots, Dunham the save. Dunham threw it right out. I don't know what he's doing to Van Allen, another one-timer. Turned away. That's exactly where he scored last goal from. And we have full pressure. It's huge to get full pressure at this point too, because it's going to be hard for them to get it out of the zone, but some great offensive chances. It seems like Van Allen really likes that one-timer, which is kind of nice to have him on that side. Spezza on the draw, wins it. Van Allen gets it again. Van Allen to Hartnell. Hartnell holds it, shoots, and turned away by Dunham. Van Inen will take it up, and now they'll get it out, which means they are going to pull their goalie. Yes, they are. Van Imp walks in, finds Gotch, turned away by Jimmy Howard. We're into the final 40 seconds. Van Allen for the empty net, can't hit the net. We don't want to pull a Patrick Stefan here, guys. Marcel Gotch with it. He'll dump it in and chase it. They only have 30 seconds left to try and tie it up. Will they be able to do it? Hopefully not. The Flames cycle it around. Van Inen throws it down low. Brent Burns loses control of the puck. Spezza doing what he can. Finds Suter, we get it out. Hartnell, will he hit the empty net? He finds Van Allen, who goes for a one-timer on the empty net. But a huge block shot there by the Flames. They don't really have a lot of time left. They keep still dumping it, which they probably shouldn't do. Your Nashville Predators are going to go to the conference finals in 2008. So we will have a chance to go to the Cup finals at least. But a huge win in Game 7 was a tough series with the Flames, but we have made it further than we've ever made it before. There, oh, Jimmy Howard doesn't actually have a Detroit mask. He has an American mask. I didn't even realize that's what I gave him. But oh well. Probably because he was a draft pick in the series. But there's the handshake line. A huge goal from Van Allen ends up being the game winner. Spezza with our captaincy, apparently. Just kind of neat. And there we have it. We head to the conference finals. Let's go. Another 4-3 win. Every single one of our wins were 4-3. But Hartnell will get third star of the game, 2 assists. Who got second star? Probably, I would assume... Yeah, one of their players, I guess. Leeson had two of their 3 goals. Huh. And Hayden Van Allen, first star of the game. Perfect. Nicely done, boys. So we head to the conference finals. The question now is, obviously we know we're facing Edmonton. What are they looking like at this point in time? It will be another Alberta team we're facing, which is kind of interesting. We have played Edmonton before, but I don't know if their roster's changed since then. So it'll be us and Edmonton in the conference finals. And in the East, you have Florida and Carolina. There's a chance this could be a rematch of the 06 finals, which is kind of funny. So shout out to that. But let's take a look at our player stats first and foremost through 2 rounds. And then we'll see what the Edmonton Oilers are looking like. But this could be a potential year for our team to actually go to a Cup Finals, which is nice. So Spezza with 19 points. He's been great as our captain. Fantastic stats. Legwand on 11 points has been good. Only 2 goals, but 9 assists. Comrie's been solid, 8 points. Lacosta, 5 assists, no goals so far. And obviously Pavelski's been long scratched. He's probably not going to get back in unless I really need to. Left wing side of things, Hartnell, 15 points and a plus 12. Hartnell's been fantastic so far. Ladislav Nagy on 14 points has been great. Morita on 13 has been good. Bork on 5 points, not bad, but a -2. And Kopecky 1 point, but +2. So Thomas Kopeski's definitely been already better in that stretch than Joe Pavelski. More points, better plus-minus. Right wing side of things, Van Allen on the 10 goals and 14 points. He's been great in terms of goal scoring. 4 game-winning goals as well. So he has been clutch. Artmeyer on 6 points had a big goal in Game 7. And Winnick also with no points so far in the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. But he's doing his job at least a little bit. Defensively, Seabrook 6 points +7. Daly 5 points +2. Corzini is a -2, but he's got 5 points. Suter on 5 points as well +3. Weber 5 points +10. And Jacques 4 points +4. Our defense has been good in terms of offense, I'd say. And then Brooks Orpik was -2 in his only game he played before Ryan Suter returned from injury. Goaltending-wise, Jimmy Howard's been our best goalie for sure, and 910 save percentage through 6 games. Brust has been a little bit inconsistent, but he has had some good games as well. So there is our player stats. Now the question is, what are the Edmonton Oilers looking like this season? Actually, I should take a look at how they did during the regular season and playoffs so far. Then we'll take a look at their roster and also who's leading them in points and all that. But next episode, since we are going to the next round, will be playoffs until we get eliminated, basically. And then if we have time, we'll also briefly look over the record book and our players that matter the most. We'll take a look at their career numbers as well if we can. So it might be a really long episode, the final episode, but I do want to wrap this up kind of on Wednesday before NHL drops, just because technically I could upload an episode on Thursday, but I don't know if I'll have access to the game by then. So if I do, I don't really know if I would want to do an episode on the Thursday when I already have NHL 25. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. But anyways, in terms of the Edmonton Oilers, they finished just below us in the standings. They had the exact same amount of points. Less RW regulation wins. So that made the difference in the standings. We had 10 less goals than them, so they were better offensively than us. And they were actually pretty solid defensively, but not as solid as us. Their power play percentage was not very good, though. And their penalty kill was actually pretty good. So a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of how good they were. Playoff-wise so far, if we go to the Western Conference, let's take a look at this here. We are 8-5. They're 8-5. We're scoring 3.92 to their 3. They're allowing 2.85 to our 3. So pretty similar numbers. We're way better offensively, I would say, based on these numbers. But they're a little bit better defensively than us. Their power play has been worse than ours as well. And their penalty kill has been actually better than ours. Huh. All right. So the question is, what is on their team at this stage? We know that I think Ilya Kovalchuk is still there, but I honestly don't know if guys like Sean Horkov are still Oilers, if Alex Hemsky is anymore. So it should be interesting to see what their roster's looking like now. So here's the 07-08 Edmonton Oilers: Kovalchuk, Horkov, and Bill Guerin. All right, so a couple of mixed players. Like Guerin obviously has been there a lot longer than he was in real life, but still. Second line, Trevor Letowski, Todd Marchand, Ryan Smith. So some pretty good top 6 players other than Trevor Letowski, I would say. Third line, Antti Miettinen, Craig Darby, and this guy named Patrick Mahalik, former 12th overall selection. All right. So that is a pretty interesting top 9. And a fourth line of Steve Guola, Sean Bates, and Andreas Dackel. They have some solid depth. One stud in Kovalchuk, really, and the other guys are all pretty good, too. I'd say like Ryan Smith, obviously, Todd Marchand, but Todd Marchand's not going to be huge. Actually, never mind. He is a good offensive player, it seems like, in this simulation. Sean Horkov's not too bad either, but he's not playing that great right now, apparently. From a defensive standpoint, they have Brian Campbell. We knew that Edmonton eventually would be good because Brian Campbell, actually Ryan Miller should be here too. We're both brought in via trade early into this franchise mode, and Brian Campbell so far has been a pretty good defenseman in terms of offensive numbers. So shout out to Brian Campbell. Looks like the Oilers... Did they win the cup in this franchise mode? I don't know. I feel like they definitely did, or they came very close to it. But Yuri Karlotti's playing with them, so that's kind of a weird top 2. Second pairing has Yanni Niinema and Brian McCabe. That's a better pairing for sure. And Tom Poti and Robin Regeer. That defensive core is actually relatively strong compared to some of the teams we've seen. So good defense and some solid offense as well. They also do have the good goaltender. There is Ryan Miller, 27 years old at this stage. Some pretty solid regular season numbers the last 2 years. Playoffs has been actually relatively good in his career as well. Looks like they came 2 wins shy of winning a Stanley Cup in 2030. So I don't remember who they lost to, but they came close. And then Robert Esch is there as well. In terms of depth, Jamie Rivers, Nathan Pache, and Matthias Nordstrom. Yeah, this is a good team. Very solid team. Like, that defense definitely makes them a good, strong defensive team. That offensive core is just as good as some of the other teams we faced already. That goaltending tandem's maybe one of the better ones we've seen. So I think this is definitely going to be a good test for our team. If we could find a way to get to that Cup Finals, it would be amazing. But obviously, at least we've made it as far as like we've ever made before. But if we somehow get to the finals, we might have to go through a Florida team that's won so many cups in this franchise mode that I don't know if we'll have a chance. But we'll be interested to see if that happens, if we could get to that finals. And then also we have a chance to play Carolina, which I don't remember if Carolina's been a good team in this franchise mode so far. So that might be the easiest task for us if we do get to the next round. But it's going to be a very tough task regardless. But it should be interesting to see if we could actually put it together in this final season. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Nashville Predators Throwback 2000 franchise mode. So next episode might be a pretty long episode. It depends really how far we get in the playoffs, but we will be doing the conference finals against Edmonton and then the recap if we'll get eliminated. If we do not get eliminated by the Oilers, we'll be doing the conference finals, the cup finals, and also the recap. So regardless, it could end up being a little bit longer of an episode than you're used to, but I think it'll be a good way to send off this series. So let me know that below, and I'll see you guys next time.